Hi there, it's Tamara Dorris. And today I want to talk to you about something that I think is just super, super important. And that has to do with conscious creation in a way that is beyond and above whatever's going on the planet right now, especially in this country, especially with politics. Okay, this is not about politics. This is above politics. Okay, I want to be really clear on that. Now listen, I have studied since I was before pre-teenager. I have studied. I grew up with this stuff with my mom. My mom was psychic, and she studied Edward Cayce, and so I was reading him when I was 12 years old. So I grew up with this stuff, and then I switched to science. And of course, I had my fair share of religion, and I've always been interested with secret societies and ancient mysticism. And I really landed with science. And here's what I want to tell you. All of it, not just religion, not just science, not just Eastern philosophies, not just secret societies, all of it pretty much uses the same recipe. I cannot stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough. And what is that method or that strategy or that thought? And it's this. We create our realities based on our consciousness. Now, you may hear a lot of things about consciousness and kind of wonder, like, what even is it, right? Is it our thoughts? Well, yeah. But mind is much more than just what you're thinking. It's your thinking, like right now, you're thinking, hopefully. It's your unconscious thinking, which you're doing right now as well. You're just not aware of it because it's below your level of awareness. And it's your feeling. And remember, your feeling is your heart. A lot of people have closed their hearts off. But here's the really important thing. Your thoughts are electric. Your feelings are magnetic. You may think that your brain is more powerful than your heart, but here's a news flash. Scientifically measured, your heart radiates a magnetic field that is 5,000, not 50, not 500, 5,000 times more powerful than the electrical field that your brain puts out. But together, they create an electromagnetic field, which science is now showing, and I'm not talking just theoretical physics, I'm talking actual physics, that we live in a universe that is electromagnetic in nature. Now, you tell me, riddle me this, Batman, how did ancient seers, how did people in the East, how did people in Egypt, like thousands of years ago, how did they know this? Science has only been proving this in the last 150, 200 years, tops. Religion's been saying it in a different way, but it's giving us the same message, right? So this has been going on for so long. The question is, when are we going to stop and believe it? In the Bible, Jesus says something that is akin, and forgive me, I don't memorize a lot of scripture, but I did do a Google search once and found that there's something like, 1,500 passages that insinuate or that lead to the law of attraction. So there's some really cool books on that as well if you want to look it up. Anyway, somewhere in the Bible, he says, be in this world, but not of it. And I really struggled for a long time. What does that mean? But when you take all of these teachings and you put them together, it's pretty basic. We live in a three-dimensional world, right? And there is also what's called the five-dimensional world. You might hear it in social media. People talk about 5D. The 5D could be the Akashic, it could be the quantum field, it could be heaven, nirvana, whatever you want to call it. But it's a dimension that's different than the dimension we're in right here. Now, if you ask a theoretical physicist or even an actual physicist like, say, Hugh Everett, he would say, he's no longer alive, but he would have said that we have various timelines. Now, this may sound really science fiction-y to you, especially because I work with an audience that's businessy. So you might be like, wow, this is weird. Why is she talking about this? But hear me out. Science proves that we have at least, not about, 12 dimensions. So right now we are in the 3D dimension. This is our 3D reality. You know, things feel solid, but they're not. We know subatomically they're not. This is all we see is what through our senses. There are other dimensions. And so one that we know is the 5th dimension, which is more energetic and I would call it the quantum field. People who study the Akashic records would call it the Akashic field. And, you know, and if you, I could tell you so many people to read. Erwin Laszlo, who has won the Nobel Peace Prize twice, not once, but twice, who combines the intersection of science, consciousness, and spirituality. And his big thing is studying the Akashic records and the Akashic field. So it's very fascinating if that, you know, appeals to you at all. Anyway, getting back to the point about Jesus. When he said, be in this world, but not of it, my interpretation after many years of meditating and trying to figure it out, I think what he was saying is be in the 3rd dimension, because here's where you are. You got to pay your taxes and you got to, you know, you got to brush your teeth. You got to do the human stuff, but have one foot in the field. And so for our intents and purposes, the field is going to be where your dreams are. It's going to be where you put your consciousness with intention. Remember, consciousness is your thoughts, both your conscious thoughts, training your unconscious thoughts, which is totally doable with neuroscience, and your heart. So keeping those in resonance, making them coherent, that's your consciousness, with what you want to create in the 3D. Do you get that? So you imagine it in the 5th dimension. It's in the 4th dimension that you imagine it, and then it stews and creates itself, and then it comes to you back in the 3D. Okay, so whether that sounded crazy or not, I don't know, and I don't care. Here's what I know. We are at a time in our history when this division that's going on right now, this like division, there's just so much anger and sadness and fear. I need you to know something, and it doesn't matter which side you vote for, doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with it, I promise you. None of the powers that be are going to profit from you creating your own reality. Do you get that? That's what I'm talking about here. None of them are going to profit from you creating a reality that you love. I'm not saying either side is against you or for you. I'm not saying anything. I have nothing to say. I don't do politics. What I do know, and what I do believe, and what I do live, and I do trust, and I do teach, and I do coach in, is that we create our own reality. And with what's going on right now in planet Earth in the United States, so many people are so spiraling into fear, regardless of you know, what's true and what's not. Because let me get this through to you. Regardless, if you're someone who's spiraling in fear, whether you're right or wrong has to do with whether you believe you're right or wrong. And I have a lot of people who say that they understand and they want to create, you know, $1 million businesses using, you know, how to bend reality and using consciousness, which is, you know, totally doable. But, oh, they draw the line here. Nope, this is where they draw the line. And I just need to make sure that I'm doing my part to spread the light. Again, I'm not saying anything that I approve or disapprove at all. I need to make sure that you understand that. That's not what I'm here to talk about. But I know that when I'm in a low frequency, because I didn't like how things turned out, that's going to keep me in the 3D, and it's going to keep me from the frequency of the 5D. Does that make sense? It's really, really important that you get this, because to not get it is okay too. I mean, we are all here on planet Earth to experience all the feels. I mean, you know, the good feels, the bad feels, we're all here to experience them. And the thing is that, and I'm going to say this, and I might get some hate for this, and it's okay, I'm going to risk it. When you feel a lot of pain, it's your higher self telling you you're out of alignment with your dreams. And sometimes we need to be in pain. We need to feel it. We need to process it. We need to mourn. We need to grieve. And that's okay too. But you have to make a conscious choice and decide, I'm just going to feel bad for a few days. I need to process this. I need to be sad. I need to mourn. It's okay to do that. But you have to understand that you and you alone are in charge of your consciousness and your frequency. And when you are sad and mad and angry and fearful, you are in a state of contraction. And if you want to change the things that you don't like in the world, you're never going to do it through contraction. Okay, so I hope that hits home. I also want to talk about something I'm going to be talking about the next few videos that I do at the end of each season when the holidays start. And I thought with everything going on, I'd start it early. And that is I do one-time sessions. And what I mean by that is I don't sell one-time sessions. I choose to spend my time most productively with people, whether it's agents or, you know, solopreneurs or people in sales. I choose to have people in my programs and my group coaching because it is the most effective. I've been in private practice and doing coaching and group coaching for many, many years, and it is where people get the best results. So some people want to do one-on-one advisory, and then it's very, very, very hands-on. You know, you're going to talk to me a lot because I need to make sure that I'm compensating for you not having the group activity that for some reason you don't want, which is totally fine. With that said, I don't do a lot of single sessions, and I only make this available, one, to people who have never coached with me. So if you did a program before and you're like, I could really use a Tamara session, that doesn't work. And two, you have to invest. It's an investment. And the reason it's an investment is because I learned, it's only been a few years since I realized that if a person isn't invested in their success, why should I be? I could talk until I'm blue in the face. I can use my intuition and my insight and my expertise, and I can point out every single thing that I see that's holding you up. But you know what? If you're not invested in your change for positive, you're not going to listen to any of it. You're not going to be open to it. You're not going to apply the things that I tell you. So it's not going to be worth your time or worth my time. So it is an investment, but it's a lot less of an investment than joining one of my 6-month programs. So there's that. And it is not any kind of a sales call. We don't talk about any of my other programs. This is me and you for an hour digging into what's holding you back. That's all it is. But let's get real. Nobody in 1 hour is going to change decades of neural programming, of DNA conditioning. Like this stuff that holds you back could go back generations. For most people, it does. So those are reasons why I like a 6-month container. Okay. Sometimes I do a 3-month, but lately I've only been doing 6 months. So if you are interested in this, I will eventually, I'm not going to be able to do it today, but I'll eventually put a link to sign up for one of my single coaching calls. I may do it. Oh, what date is it? It is November. Later in the month, I may make it where I do offer a discount on my single sessions. My single sessions are $375, but I might go down to I don't know, a lower rate than that just for this month, just because I know a lot of people need support right now. And I want to be supportive. I want to be altruistic, but I also need to know that you have skin in the game. Okay. So remember, it's your consciousness, your frequency that helps you achieve your abundance. And I hope you found that helpful. Have a beautiful day, and thank you for watching.